Welcome to another episode of the Top Corner Podcast. Another day,
That was a good one.
another dollar.
That was a really good one.
Yeah. So we're back in the studio recording for y'all mother effers.
We don't have one over there.
Yep. But you know the cool thing is I bleep the word, so because I can't curse. But guess what?
See,
a lot of news.
I could bleep you anyway though, because I usually find that the YouTube algorithm, something about if you have a curse word within the last, or like the first and last 2 minutes of a show, it kind of cuts down on where it goes to. So that's why I've been bleeping that, and I bleep all the shorts now, so we can just kind of.
Well, the thing is, I might always kind of bleep myself just because my body don't allow me to say the word. Yeah. It's like I feel it coming, and sometimes I'm like,
Yeah, I have a pretty colorful vocabulary, so I kind of need help. At this point, I don't think I could stop if I tried. Like, if I actively made like
if it's in you, it's in you.
Yeah, it's just there it is. Anyway, we got some news. You want to hit that news and rumors?
We got a little news for y'all.
Actually, quite a bit, and it all came up super late as well. When we put these shows together, some days are more stacked than others, and some days it's like sometimes there's a story that comes out the day after we drop a podcast, so we had to hold on to the news for like 6 days. And then there are other days where it's the morning of the show, and it's not that we don't have anything, because we can always talk about football, but like it just a bunch of like legitimate news kind of came out right as we were like on our way into the studio today. So
well, guess what then? Manchester City have made history by being Premier League champions for the fourth season in a row.
Fuck them.
4 times. That means 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. And they might go for
Look who's
25.
counting.
Yeah, that's what they do. They're winners.
Good for them, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, their fans, at least in England, aren't that annoying. I feel like the few Manchester City fans that I've found in the States can be a little annoying. Oh. But also, I know that Arsenal fans are notoriously annoying worldwide, so it works out for everyone.
Because I think Arsenal fans are a little bit delusional because they play good now, but they ain't winning no trophies. So it wasn't
even really that, honestly. Like if you look at someone that like my favorite teams, like I hate my fan base. Yeah. Like I'm not gonna be in the sea of jerseys with you. Yeah. Jumping and yelling because I don't like most of you. You're kind of annoying. I don't think it was that they're delusional and that they're now good again. It's that they always felt as if the greatness that was in the late 90s and 2000s was inherently supposed to maintain. Yeah. And no club's really done that. Like you
kind of Madrid.
Well, okay. Well, we're talking about Premier League because that's kind of what the highlight of the season was. Is this back like the last like 7 or 8 weeks of this league? But like United, horrible place right now. You would be delusional if you wanted to maintain that mindset of like 2004, right? Liverpool, they've had so many ups and downs, but a lot of their big success was in the 70s and 80s. So for you to sit there at all times, like in the 2015, 16, 17, when they were, Klopp hadn't yet come in and rebuilt, they're hanging out in the Europa League. For you to sit there and sort of hold on to that mentality, that would be foolish of you. That's usually what it is. It's the clubs that were great at one point and had multiple blips of it, not just a one-off kind of a deal. Like a Leicester, like a Leicester winning the league, and then all of a sudden you think that you're entitled to win. It's like, no, it's usually the fan bases that have had certain, like, multiple eras of success, and you just think that it should be that at all times. That's just not the case. And then it just comes down to being vocal about it, because even though Liverpool fans understand, I think they understand the ebbs and flows a bit more. They're not quite as annoying when they are good. They don't rub it in your face as much. And when they're bad, they don't seem to sugarcoat it either. And I like that feeling. Okay. I like if you're playing poorly, the fan base should be the most vocal about it, not being personal about it, not saying your mother's a whore and all that kind of shit, because that does happen. But like you're the ones that watch them most often. You should be the ones that know where the exact problems are. You shouldn't be lying to cover up for it, because we all see it and you see it the most. And I feel like Liverpool fans always kind of did that pretty well. Anyway, kicking this news. City wins. I get it. Whatever. Bummer.
That's true. Liverpool fan. I think probably in England that in the Premier League itself. I think probably Liverpool fans in terms of the big clubs in England, they're the most
humble. I think.
Yeah. They rarely get in trouble with the law and all that. So, but the West, oof. But that was the highlight of the weekend. They won it.
Allegedly. It was a low light for me, but it's fine.
They won it. Y'all thought they weren't gonna win it. You thought West Ham were gonna give them a draw. Not at all.
No.
But you know what? Arsenal wasn't far too. This year they were better than last year in the sense of point. They had 86 and City had 88. So it wasn't that far.
It's one of those where, and I think that it shows really, it sort of highlights the difference in quality, not only with City and Arsenal, but City and everybody else. Last season, Arsenal was not as good as they were this season.
Yeah.
And City were better than they were this season.
Yeah.
And then Arsenal are better now, and City's not as good, and City still come out on top.
Yeah.
That just shows, like, they're both moving in opposite directions, and yet City still had more to give.
I wonder. I'm
ridiculous
to see City of next year, because City of this year without Gundogan, without who again left, they had so many people leave, and the team was kind of still performing, but not at the degree that they performed 2 years ago or a year ago.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see how the midfield will look like, because I don't think he's going to change much of the attack. Is Haaland. The left side, I'm interested to see if he's going to bring in someone again, because Doku is a good dribbler, but he can't finish.
And and Grealish isn't.
Yeah, and Grealish, he don't look like he want to stay even.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah.
No, they should have a lot of changes. They never looked unstoppable this year.
Yeah.
They never looked unstoppable. They never looked like they had in the past, where it didn't matter who they were going to play.
Yeah.
They were.
But Phil Foden, best player of the season.
Yeah.
Player of the season. Phil Foden. He knows something about winning. So yeah.
a thing or two. Yeah.
I think he said this weekend. I don't know if it was this weekend or this week. He said Madrid is a weird team. It's like you can control the game and suddenly you counterattack, the score on the win, or you can sit back and relax and the pressure is coming. So it's like he don't understand. But Phil Foden is my guy just because the reason why I say that, I've seen him increase. I've seen him going from the guy that was a prospect at some time was being dogged by everyone. He might not be the guy we think he will be. And then now he's just an essential part of that City team. And to be honest, I feel like the Bruyne retiring or close to, not even retirement, but close to not being at the stage that he is now.
Yeah.
Or just Pep Guardiola might be shifting things around because the Bruyne is not young as he used to. I feel like it might be moving more to a Phil Foden kind of team where he is more of like the maestro of that team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, and he reminds me a lot of, and this is not a fan bias. People compared them a lot, and the quality has began to separate. Those first couple of seasons with Foden are similar to the first couple of seasons with Saka, where and Foden's a better player. I'm not saying that he's not. I'm not saying that in the last 4 years or so, they both have broken out, but Foden has broken out much more and has become something completely different.
I wonder if it's also because of the system. Well, I would say the system, but it's not like Saka is restricted to play a certain way.
You know what I think it is? I think that, and I've seen it 2 seasons now, where the team itself is rising to the occasion with him. Foden just has, there are more options. He doesn't have to start every single match.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to burn himself out. You see as the season goes on, Arsenal relies on Saka, not just we need you every second of every minute of every game, but most of the attack is going through you as well. And that burns you out. And you see that in those players. And I they both have intricate systems. But I think that Arsenal's system is not quite as, and I don't want to say this in a bad way, it's not as kind to the players. It's very rough on them physically. It's a very high octane, very intense system.
If Saka is in a team like Madrid, might go crazy.
He could,
because all the connection that the attack is not, they're not seizing that opportunity to score. In Madrid, they will be scoring.
Yeah.
Or even if he wasn't even in City with someone like Alan, then his passing or assist rate might go up too.
Yeah. Well, or it could be one of those things where Saka really flourishes in being one if not the main guy. Okay. And all of a sudden you sort of get like a Jack Grealish thing where when he was at Aston Villa and he took all these chances for himself and really focused on him, he did well. Once he was being a piece of something else, it didn't work as well. And they're very different players, and I think that Saka obviously shows that he works better in a fluid system by being an Arsenal by default.
Well,
but yeah, I mean, maybe he would be a bit insane not being an immediate part of everything at Madrid. Maybe he wouldn't be able to play at the same level that he does now because he's getting less opportunities, but having to be more clinical in those.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But the one thing I would say about Saka though, if you look at the Euro, was it 2018 Saka and not 2018 actually.
2020. Well, they moved it to 2021 because.
2021. Yeah. Saka, he's different from this Saka in the sense that he is more. He has more composure with the ball.
Oh yeah,
and he is more clinical in the sense that, and there's less waste coming from him too, as compared to 2021. You can see a lot of maturity for such a young guy too. The only thing that is worrisome is he might be, if there's no protection from the league itself, he might burn out quickly. And he might expire quickly. When I say expired, he is the most kicked player in the league right now. I'm talking about fouling wise. He's always been kicked, and most of the time they are not even the people doing the foul or committing the foul are not even awarded no yellow cards or whatever. So it's crazy. It's kind of like Hazard when I think about it.
Yeah, he could be one of those guys. You know, he's like. How old are you, man? Like 34, 35? He's like, I'm 27. You're like, what? Do you smoke?
The body
you look old, man. What are you doing? Yeah, I mean, and that's because that's part of the system. And yeah, like the other players are very rough with him. He's expected to play almost every second of every single game, and every bit of offensive advancement goes through him or with him being a very intricate part of the build-up. And so
what about Florian Wirtz? Florian
Wirtz.
Florian Wirtz.
Yeah, he is destined to stay at Bayer Leverkusen for one more season. This is what I'm talking about, man. If they just get a couple more guys to do this for one more season, it's gonna be amazing.
They might get investors too. Because
Frimpong, Xhaka, Wirtz, like, come on, just lock him down. I
think the hardest part of underdog teams coming up is that they have an amazing season, the breakout season, but they cannot maintain that season, or they cannot follow up the next season, because either all of their players, because a breakout season means all the players are also breaking and flourishing, these flowers, you know? All big teams come in hunting for those players, and they have to end up leaving.
And some stay, but not enough. Very rarely do enough of them stay.
Yeah. And it's difficult to maintain. But if that same team maintains and maintain that level at which they broke out and continue to be that team, then it will also attract investors to invest so they can have money and start becoming an influential team.
It becomes less about buying the players off the club, and then it does investing in the club. So it's like, you guys don't have to leave to make more money.
And with that, they can also find prospect and buy those prospects, because now they're attracting people and the fan base is being built. So there's a lot of things. So I always want to see a breakout team stay.
Yes,
I want to see that.
And I'll tell you what, the next two games for them are very important, because they could win a fucking treble. Because the Europa League final is tomorrow. When this airs, when this is released, the game will be about 6 hours away, maybe 7 hours away. So we are talking in a previous day's sense. But they are going to beat Atalanta. They're going to win the POCH final. They're going to win a treble. Not the treble, but a treble. With the opportunity next season to win the treble. I'm not saying that they will. But they will have every team has the opportunity at the start of the season to win that treble. Everyone does. Every single one does.
Everybody's starting at 0. So, but Madrid might push you in 2025. How about that?
That makes sense. Yeah, that's perfect. That's kind of what I've said all season long. you don't want to see, and you said it lately as well, you don't want this team to just completely dissolve.
Yeah.
However, with this summer, with last fall, this summer, this coming fall, and next summer, they should be able to build a team in which now those guys can go somewhere else. Now Florian Wirtz can go somewhere else. Now Frimpong can go somewhere else. So by 2025, you should have something lined up.
Yeah.
And I expect to see players go at that point. It's always that they get cut or they get released 1 to 2 seasons before something can really start building.
Yes.
And that's what keeps these clubs down.
That's true.
So perfect. I mean, one more season. Let's see what they got in the Champions League. Let's see if they can not. They won't go through another Bundesliga campaign undefeated.
No,
because it's never been done before. So they won't do that. But let's see them with an actual opportunity.
There will be a strong contender. There will be a fearsome team to always go against.
Yeah.
And it will just be the stable now. It will be just the standard instead of being like, y'all did this year, last year, but last year was last year. Finito. Don't think about it. But Chelsea will not look to bring back Tuchel, Mourinho, and Antonio Conte.
Yeah.
But Chelsea's in a weird place, actually. Guess what? Pochettino. Is it because of that? Pochettino?
Yeah, and then Roberto De Zerbi and Hansi Flick are both interested in Chelsea. So those three things together suggest to you that the Chelsea organization are not interested in digging up the past.
Yeah.
They want to move forward. But yeah, Pochettino is officially out.
Yeah.
Any sort of backslide into, I guess, better times. They don't want to experience those better times anymore.
But it's crazy to me, right? Because imagine in the last 2-3 years, they have changed so many trainers and so many managers that, at least 5 managers.
Yeah.
And you ask yourself, where is the time to develop? Where is the time for a set manager to actually come with his own style of play, with his own way, ideas, and how he sees the game? When does he have the time to, to kind of instill this in players?
There's no philosophy.
There's no philosophy.
Yeah.
And you can't win games like that because
it's like their coaching staff and their players roster. It looks like the former members of like a grindcore band, the drummer section.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean anything to you. Someone out there is laughing. Grindcore bands are known to have had they've been around for 8 years. They've had literally 20 drummers.
Cool.
People just quit every couple months or so. So I get it. Yeah, that's what it feels like. There's no philosophy. People are in and out. The only person that feels consistent in their makeup is the owner, who is not from football.
Yeah.
That's the last person that you want to feel in every aspect of your organization.
He himself is understanding what it is at stake, and you have And to be honest, I thought, I guess we will see if the next manager brings that, but they have talent. It's not like they don't have talent. They just lack a philosophy. They lack a way and a style of play. Everybody does what everybody feel like they want to do. That's the thing. And Todd Boehly is not the guy.
And nobody feels like winning.
Yeah.
No, like nobody comes out feeling like they had the energy to get things done.
Talking about feeling like winning. Tottenham is another case. Their coach right now, or the manager, Mourinho said the same thing. They were like, Mourinho is crazy. But guess what? Most of the time when he says something.
Yeah. He's not insane. He's 4 years early.
Yeah.
With everything that he says and does. That's all it is.
He's like predicting the future. Now everybody's coming back to he might have had a point.
But the funny thing is, and as someone that's been that way before, where you're the bad guy because what you say in the moment doesn't feel right to everyone else.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, in 4 or 5 years, when everyone else comes around and realizes that you were right, they still don't fucking apologize and tell you that you were right. They still just don't like you. And that's the funniest thing about it, is that you're like, oh wow, I'm still the bad guy despite everybody now seeing that I was right.
Yeah.
Did you forget that I was right and you were wrong, or are you just trying to ignore that and now you just take the anger that you had at me before and you just hold on to that?
Yeah. I mean, he said it. He said the worst was Tottenham because it doesn't feel like they wanted to win, right?
Yeah.
Who said it earlier? Their coach right now, what's his name?
Postecoglou.
His name is so difficult.
Ange Postecoglou.
And he just said the same thing. And Antonio Conte said the same thing too. it's like he's never seen it. It's like
Well, I was
they
gonna say,
have
like,
no will to win.
of those 3 coaches, one of those is not like the other.
Yeah.
And that's nothing against Postecoglou, but like
Yeah.
he is not Antonio Conte, he is not Jose Mourinho.
Yeah.
But if you're in the company of those people and you've worked in the same organization and you're walking away feeling like what they felt,
Yeah.
it's not really your problem.
So the thing about it is like the whole organization doesn't have a will to win.
Yeah.
There's no. It's for them. I feel like participation every year is cool, as long as we
not
don't
being
drop to the
a
second
laughing
league.
stock, because
Yeah.
they want to compete, but they don't want to actually be taken seriously. Like if they could compete, if by their definition of compete would be that they were in top 7 every single year and didn't budge, you'd probably take that.
Look at that. Look at Tottenham playing against City. I don't know, man. It's every time, like, they said it. We didn't say it. Coaches that actually worked there, coached there.
Yeah,
said it.
not even just other coaches that coached against the club. Coaches that were in the club, they're saying that thing.
Tottenham has no will. They don't want to win. So guess what? If the whole organization don't feel like they have to win, there's nothing you can do as a coach. You can just hold with the boss,
And if those coaches that were in that organization can say that, we can say that.
Yeah.
Because it's not that we're like projecting our own opinion. If the coach says that, that's not an opinion. That's kind of a fact in that way. Because he worked with them day in, day out and saw what they had to offer or what they didn't want to offer. That's what it sounds like. It doesn't sound like they don't have the ability to. They just don't want to. The money is there. That's a wealthy club.
Yeah.
They actually make a lot of money. You know what? They make a lot of money in the U.S. because they're an underdog. Have you had that conversation with anybody?
I never thought about that.
Because Americans are not attached to a region in the UK. It doesn't make any sense too. Just like when English people watch American football, they kind of just pick the club that they usually like the logo or the colors or whatever the fuck it is. The reason that Tottenham are so big in the US is not because they win a bunch of titles like United. Yeah. People that have the underdog mentality in day-to-day life don't want to vote to root for United. So the immediate thing that they go to is you look at these histories of these clubs, and Tottenham's always known for being the laughing stock or like the least effective big club. So they get to feel like they're rooting the underdog, but like now all of a sudden you have a bunch of US fans that don't know what they're talking about pumping in legitimate cash. Now you do have the money, and now it's up to you guys if you want to actually win or not. It's not that you can say, oh, we don't have the money for this. Like our facilities aren't good enough. We can't really pay for that guy. It's like you just paid for the most expensive stadium in the fucking planet. It feels like you have the money to spend on these guys. You let players go for good money that could have gotten you into a Champions League final again if they really pushed hard. Like now you can't really put that title on who you are because so many people are backing you. It's interesting.
Bayern Munich interested in Xavi Simons or looking at Xavi Simons. What that mean for their midfield? He's pretty. I think it will be good for Bayern, just getting back into reconstruction, in a sense. Having a team that can win, that are all young too, because they kind of have young players at certain positions or most of the position, but they lack a little bit on their midfield. Yep. In fact, they're probably the defense too, but. Or the central backs. And
then you're like, and come to think of it, I don't know.
So, but
no, I mean, definitely you need to be thinking about Xavi Simons as someone to alleviate, we'll say, a Goretzka, a Kimmich, a Muller, in that attacking midfield. Could you imagine Musiala and Xavi Simons kind of working in that build-up? That'd be really interesting to see. So it's a very necessary place for them to replace, because 3 of their guys are just not looking at up to stuff anymore.
United, Munich, and Aston Villa are all interested in Rabiot, who is free agent. This summer. That's crazy.
Yeah. Well, the free agent, you pick him up as a rotation guy. I could see. I don't think Villa really need him.
No.
I don't think Munich need him in that spot.
I feel like Villa have a good team right now, and I'm really interested to see what they can do next year.
You know what I see happening right now with this? I see Rabiot coming into United.
Yeah.
People thinking that because he's going to replace Casemiro, even though he's not a 1-for-1 replacement for Casemiro, he's not a 1-for-1 replace for anyone in that midfield. Eriksen, he might be the best replacement for Eriksen. Free agent, how much you pay for him, I don't know. It's up to you, literally. But he's one of those guys that'll come into United and United will be like, he's going to fix everything. You're like, no. Because, like, it's not going to be a one transfer window fix for United. And he'll come in first and everyone's going to shit on him and he'll never reach that potential because they didn't give him the grace in the beginning.
Yeah.
But it's not his fault either. But also, well, actually, it kind of is your fault. I wouldn't sign there right now.
Yeah.
It's just me.
Kyle Walker and KDB are expected to stay at City until 2025. I can see that. And the reason I can see that is because I feel like Pep hasn't found the potential replacement for these two. Or for Kyle Walker, where there's Jeremy Doku, Doku still lacks decision making. He is either too quick or too slow. Not in terms of speed. I'm talking in terms of decision making.
Yeah, he definitely has speed.
Yeah.
He'll rush a pass or he'll blaze immediately down the wing and stop and go, oh shit, what do I do now?
Yeah.
And like has no options and he just turns the ball over.
So I can see that probably it's a way to keep that rotation going while Jeremy Doku becomes that guy before. For KDB, I can see too because there's not that midfield guy too.
Oh yeah.
I wonder if they had to sign someone that would get in there at that KDB's position. McAllister? Yeah. But I don't think he wants to leave where he's at.
No, well, there is a bit of news in here about that. I guess we can bridge into that. He does have a $60 million release clause, and Madrid is interested.
Dude, what the hell is Madrid trying to do?
I don't know. But
that's the point.
We'll go back to that. But McAllister does make sense, though, for that sort of
yeah.
Quick on the ball, but not necessarily overly pacey. Threading passes. I can see him working well and not leaving Rodri hanging out to dry.
Yeah, and McAllister is really good. This year he was amazing.
He was very good.
Toni Kroos, breaking news, officially retires.
After this Euros. This is his last Euros. That's sad.
Yeah.
But you know what? There's a beauty to that. He will
finish his career after the Euros. No new contract with Real Madrid. I wonder if he's going to retire, or pick one of these clubs.
That's what I was going to say. It sounds like he's going to retire, and you know what? I'm all for that.
Yeah.
He's what, 33, 34?
Yeah, around that 32.
He's not gonna dirty his hands with the Saudi league. He's just gonna walk away from it. I like that.
For you guys who don't understand, Toni Kroos he's a goat of his position, and I will tell you why. 2014, after the Germany campaign, and he was at Bayern Munich, he asked for a 10 million salary, and Bayern said no.
Yeah.
We can't give you 10 million. He wanted to be paid the same as Mario Götze. If you know Mario Götze, if you don't know, go search him up. And Carlo Ancelotti, that's why I feel like the Madrid team that even wins after Carlo Ancelotti, it's like Carlo Ancelotti really built that whole Madrid team.
Yeah.
Because Carlo Ancelotti felt like, okay, this guy will be important for Madrid. He signed him, and guess what? He has been in Madrid till this day, and he has won at Madrid. Yeah. Toni Kroos has never finished a La Liga campaign with less than 90% pass accuracy.
Jesus.
10 consecutive seasons of greater than 92% passing accuracy.
That's insane.
In fact, this year, he's finishing with the highest 95% accuracy. So it means that if you call him on the stadium and ask him, I want a pass, and he asks you, where? Anywhere you say that he's gonna drop
you better be there. Yeah. You better be there because the ball will be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, well, and you read stuff like that, and it's like, well, no wonder Ancelotti's like, dude, one more season, please, one more, because that translates not even to just what's on the field during game day. That's in training.
Yeah.
I mean, you have Valverde, Tchouaméni, and Camavinga all in passing rotations in practice with this guy every day of the week.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, please stay. God, please stay one more season.
I wonder.
It makes a difference.
I wonder if people like Modric and Toni Kroos could just stay the next season, and if they're not playing the training that whole midfield.
Yeah.
You know.
I think we had this conversation last time as well. Both of those guys are like they immediately feel like they could slot right into a coaching position.
Mm-hmm.
But they're also those guys that's like they're probably burnt out. Like they probably need give them like 3 years off. Let them just spend time with family for 3 years, and then they come back in to coach. And I guarantee you, they have immediate success.
Oh, man.
I can see Toni Kroos actually producing in a very quick way like Xabi Alonso has.
Yeah, I too.
He understands it. He understands it.
I can see him and Modric doing the same.
Yeah.
Modric is also old, though. People don't understand. Modric is 38, and he's still playing at that level.
Yeah.
shoot, his lungs might be ready to give up anytime.
He doesn't. I don't know. He looks all right.
And that's also what is good. If you play like them, if you have that style of playing where you don't rely so much on your athleticism, but rely on more of your skill and mentality, you will last long in the game.
Always.
Than people that rely on that. And in fact, if you see people that rely on a lot of their athleticism, they
short windows of success.
Yes.
And if not overly short, always shorter compared.
That's why you have for left wing and right wing, it's kind of normal. You got to be able to run these things. You got to run. Yeah. That's why they don't stay that long in the game.
And occasionally they can slide into a center forward, but usually that's already filled. That's already a different skill set.
We don't count people like Ronaldo and Messi because these are just exceptions of exceptions.
Well, do you even really consider at that point, because that's who a lot of people would look at, was his run as a striker at Juventus really that much of a success? Ronaldo, where like you say, oh, you can do that. Yeah. So like, do you want to go do that based on what he did at Madrid?
Yeah.
And then the drop of quality, not only in himself, but in the team. Like, that's not a banner of success. No. That's not what I would want to have represent that movement of a player moving inside.
Yeah. Oh, well, he kind of started the whole left wing, inverted left wing. But I'm just saying that in terms of left wing, you can put them in the bracket. Because the reason why they stay long is also because they are different.
Yeah.
You wouldn't put everyone. You find like someone like Hazard, after leaving Chelsea, was still in potentially his prime. I would say that. But at Madrid, he couldn't do anything. Most of the left
he didn't want to do anything either, it seems. And he kind of said it. So.
Yeah, I think he's just saying it now, but I don't think he could have.
He's
just saying. Yeah, I'm just saying these guys are different, but defenders most of the time, defenders and midfielders will last a little bit longer, especially the ones that especially the ones that play with more of their skills and are really intelligent. Like was the guy Costa? No, the guy that from Chelsea that's leaving. I forgot his name. The central back that's leaving.
Oh, Thiago Silva.
Thiago Silva. Like him, like the Modric, the Toni Kroos. These are just exceptions, but in fact, those positions will stay longer in the game.
Yeah.
Who do we have again? We do. Mark Lister, he has a 60 million release clause. Madrid interested. To be honest, I wouldn't. If I'm Mark Lister right now, I'm not going to Madrid. I'll tell you why.
Oh, yeah.
There's an overload.
Yeah.
And whenever there's an overload, everybody's fending and fighting for a position. And the drop in form can be really sudden.
Yeah.
Or could go the other way. But there's this huge competition.
Yeah, I don't care if I don't care who I am in that midfield. I don't care if I'm McAllister. I don't care if I'm Camavinga, Valverde, Tchouameni. I'm not wanting another person in that mix.
Yeah,
we're already doing what we have to do here. It's like someone has to go, and unfortunately, if someone goes, it's going to be Tchouameni. Well, fortunate for another club because he is that good, and I stand by it. I think that he's a perfect replacement for Thomas Partey at Arsenal.
Yeah.
So if anything, he could do good. McAllister, head on over there.
Yeah.
Make this happen. Speed it up.
With those two getting out now, because there's no concrete signing of a midfielder. But with Toni Kroos out and Modric potentially more of a rotation if he stays, they might be more of starters this year.
Yeah.
Because they also have they have a lot of prospects that they loan everywhere, so they might be coming back. So rotation, we don't know who's gonna be a rotation yet, but I feel like Camavinga, Tchouameni will be now just starters. You got Valverde too.
Yeah.
You got Arda Güler. You got Bellingham, which more his position, but I feel like he's gonna get back into a CM position.
Part of the article that I had read was that Ancelotti was when he was trying to get Kroos to stay. Kroos still says, no, I'm just going to retire. It looks like Ancelotti's going to want to move Bellingham back a tiny bit more to a traditional center midfielder like he was planning to, than whatever sort of odd magic happened this season where he couldn't stop scoring goals.
Yeah, because now he has people that could score. I'm talking about Mbappe is not a striker by definition, but he has that instinct.
He's a free spirit. He just does whatever he wants.
Yeah, he has that instinct of the striker, so he will score whenever. You got Rodrigo that will score. You got Vinicius that will score. So it's just normal for him to get back to that midfield.
He has that feeling of a striker until he hits the post all the time in the Champions League.
Whoa, Rodrigo?
No, Mbappe.
Mbappe? Yeah, kind of.
I'm a striker until I hit the fucking post every time. And then I'm something else. But,
yeah,
I'm always Mbappe. I'm kidding. I fuck with him because he puts himself in a position where it's easy to do.
Oh, when you're the best, you do that.
Oh, that's right.
I mean, it's just normal. This is what you do. Imagine someone, Ronaldo would do that in 2015. In fact, he said, who scored more goals? Who did this when he was talking to the reporter? And they said, it's me. And he said, oh, voila. So, but this year, I'm really interested to see what will happen. Well, next year, I guess, but this year.
Yeah, it's still this year. It'll all be unveiled in this calendar year.
Yeah.
Villa are interested in Chelsea's Conor Gallagher. We don't spend a lot of time on this, but that makes some sense for both the player and the club.
Yeah,
good energy.
Leave Chelsea.
Chelsea have to leave Chelsea.
Yeah,
that's what it's. But I mean, he was one of the brighter stars in a system that's not working. It feels almost like a reverse Jack Grealish.
Yeah.
I think that moving into a system that's a bit more free, where there's less high stakes, he can take more chances and kind of be a bit more creative individually. That could be what works for him. Because he's one of those guys that seems like he does not flourish in high-profile clubs, meaning that I can't do this because, not even that they're playing as like a solid unit, but I can't do this because this guy's a bigger star than me. I mean, I should probably do this. It's like it might not be based on anything logical.
Yeah, yeah.
Enzo Fernandez, I've got to hand it back to him and Caicedo because they're both $100 million players, allegedly. So they're paid for. So, like, why would Conor Gallagher feel like he should and could get that time to be expressive and creative when he slots into that midfield in Villa? He's a bit more their standard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can see that working. I can also see it not working, but it seems like a decent option for him to move from Chelsea.
Yeah.
And not take a big step down. That's not even a step down at all to me.
No, because Aston Villa is going to be competing. So I'm also interested to see what they will look like as a team next year.
Yeah.
So, because they got that Watkins kid, he's pretty good. Yeah. And he was even the runner-up of strikers. They got Rodgers on the side, Lewis, McGinn, Tielemans, Bailey. And Bailey is still young. He can run. He still got it. Damn. So I think with Gallagher, if they decide to go for him, that will be a really good addition to the team.
Definitely, I agree. Well, we've got some other little talking points for the end of the Premier League season. If you want to get into those really fast, that was all of our news and rumors. Here's a question about the season: where did it actually go wrong for Arsenal this season? Because everybody keeps going to one point, and I kind of have to disagree. They keep saying that it was that Arsenal were willing to accept a draw at the Etihad against City, and they did. They got that 0-0 draw a couple weeks back, like a month and a half back. People are saying that even Rodri came out with a press statement and sort of said, when we saw how they were shaping up, when we saw that they were kind of willing to sit back and allow that, that's when we saw that they were different from us. And I don't agree with that. I think that, but like as a player, I get it. As a competitor, I get it. But you're hopped up on emotions. You're kind of taking the shit talk a little bit, and like I like that. Like it's a good shit talk. Like, I like when players say that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But logically, it's not. That's not true. There are plenty of times where it makes sense to walk into a higher standing club and be willing to take a draw.
I don't think that's where it went wrong for Arsenal, to be honest. I think where it went wrong for Arsenal was that December. Yeah. And I'll tell you why. Because games is if you're in Premier League and you're competing against the best of the best like City and Liverpool, and you want to win the league, and that's in any league, right? You have to, especially when you are the underdog, even if you're in the big six, right?
Yeah.
You have to do game management. What games do or should I automatically get the 3 points?
Yep.
And what games I can afford to get a draw, or worst case scenario, a loss. City will be that game.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yes.
City will be.
We said
game.
this back when they took that draw. Yeah. That was a good thing to take that draw.
Liverpool would probably be that. In fact, you can say, and they Liverpool, got that... City, and if Chelsea was Chelsea, you could say that. But the rest, I'm not taking no for an answer. I'm not taking 0-0. And I would you have Aston Villa. You
lost to them both times this season. Yeah. They lost to Villa twice.
You in around that time, which was what, October, you lost to Aston Villa. You lost to who they lost to again? They did the draw with Liverpool, but that's besides the point. Like, they can afford
the West Ham and Fulham losses right after.
Yeah, they lost to West Ham 2-0. They lost to Fulham. So guess what? I'm not losing to Fulham. I'm not losing to West Ham. I'm not losing to Aston Villa.
At home. If anything.
Yeah.
Because they are still a top 4 club now, and you have to accept that as well.
That's it. Because they lost to Liverpool around that time.
Yeah.
But.
Because see, if, like you said, Chelsea of old, United of old, those were the clubs that you could say, we can drop points at their stadium. Villa is that now.
Yes.
Like you, at this point, you can't afford to lose any points to Chelsea at all. Yes. Any points to United, Newcastle, period. Villa's just taking that spot. So it's kind of a revolving door of the top 4.
Yeah.
You can take a loss or drop of points to some of the top 4. Yeah. If you look at City's performance against the bottom 14 clubs in the season, it was perfect almost.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until they had some shaky performances against Chelsea.
Yes.
And other top, like, big 6 sides. They manage it better because, it kind of proves the point of, you want to only drop points against the teams that are higher than you in the table, and you can validate.
Now,
but you can't validate losing to lower ranked clubs on the table. You just can't.
Now, guess what? I'm running. We forget December. November, December passed. I'm really in this bracket where all teams that are running, all 3 teams have the same point. I go play against Aston Villa and I lose again. Because the draw against City might be, we draw against City.
Yeah.
That's all right.
That's fine.
That's fine. It's a big club. Worst case scenario, it could have been a loss, but we drew. So are we still in a competition? Yes. Yep. What do we have to do till the end of the day? Not lose.
Don't fucking lose.
That's it.
Yep.
So either they should have won this league by not losing in December, November.
Yeah.
Or they should have just managed the game very well at the end of the season and not lost against Aston Villa. Because at this point, City is not gonna lose.
Yeah. You put yourself in a situation where you can play perfectly, and as long as City does as well, they still win.
Yes.
That's not a good thing for you. And yes, don't get me wrong, losing twice home and away to Aston Villa is not acceptable. However, it's more acceptable to me than losing to West Ham and Fulham in December.
Yeah, that's why I say.
That's where it was the most wrong for them.
That's why I say that's really the turning point for them.
6 massive points.
Yeah. If they had, let's say, that's why I said, let's say we lost those games. What are we doing? We are 10 games or 6 games to win in this league because we are in the same bracket. We have they padded their goal difference to the point where if we draw same amount of points with City or even Liverpool, we are winning.
Beautiful.
Right?
Yeah. Now that
you are that, but the problem with that is there's too much pressure. If I had won all those games in December, now I'm cruising.
Yeah.
There's less pressure, and probably with less pressure being Arsenal, I'm winning more. Because pressure too will put you in a situation where it might be a loss one day, or it might be so you just gotta you also at the end you also have to have a winning DNA. We talk about it, and you guys might say whatever. Madrid has that. The game is not finished until it's 90, until the referee says it's finished, and teams like City will do that.
Yeah.
So that's the next. I feel like Arsenal should add that to the whole philosophy next year, where nothing is said and done until the ref say, "Hey."
Until I'm on the bus.
Yeah.
Until I'm still challenging for the ball in the tunnel.
Yeah.
In the locker room.
That's the like
studs up and everything.
This year I see an improvement from them. Next year will just be that philosophy, I know Thierry Henry said this well. He said teams like Madrid, and most of the time when they get in the Champions, they feel like they will have to win it.
Yeah.
That's why they win it.
It's an obligation.
It's for them.
Hmm?
It don't matter who is there.
I can't go home unless I win this. My wife locked the door.
That's it.
I can't get back in my house.
And that's the mentality they got to come with next year. And if they come with the way they play, because there's an improvement this season, they're winning next year. They're winning next year.
Yeah, fuck.
Now, the only problem is like if Chelsea gets good too, that's a different thing.
Chelsea have a longer way to go, but yes.
They do have a long way to go.
But they also have a history of quick fixes.
Look at Tuchel.
I know.
When he came there, the fix was what, 6 months or whatever month?
Yeah.
And they were back up running.
He came back in January and they won the Champions League.
Yeah, so
then to follow that question, where does Arsenal need improvement on the field? Looking at this whole season, what do they actually need?
That's actually a great question. What do Arsenal need?
Because I watched every single game of theirs this season.
Yeah.
I
will tell you what they need.
In both competitions.
I will tell you exactly what they need. They have it, but they need.
Yes.
They have it in 90%, but they need the 10%.
Yeah, like there's nothing that they like need as in like they don't have, but they need improvements, and for one reason or another.
The defense is great. In fact, Saliba and Magalis, whatever.
Gabriel.
Let me just say Gabriel was one of the best defensive combination this year in the Premier League.
Probably the best.
Probably the best. I think they consider less goals.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's two things. Their right side might need a low improvement. Either we need to decide, because I will tell you, that and the attacking. You need a striker that in the midst, when push comes to shove, where there's just one opportunity, who has to convert it? Yeah. You need that guy. Yeah. And you need that. Look at, I will go, and this is because it's a good example. Like, you look at City, Madrid, an instinct, a pure striker instinct. When Vinicius hit that ball from far, what does Joselu does? He follows up. Yeah. Why? Because in a striker's mind, and that will be
to clean it up.
Even Gomez will do that. Or Gomez from Bayern Munich. Müller will do that. Because that's a striker.
Benzema would have as well.
Benzema would have
been right there.
Yeah, because they know the goalkeeper could hit it and comes back. And guess what? If it bounces back, I'm putting that soccer
right there
back
for
in the field.
Yeah.
You need that kind of striker instinct, and they don't have it. They have guys that can score. Yeah. But in when the game there's less opportunity, you always have those reflex, and most of the time you need someone that has it. Yeah,
you're expecting everybody in that attacking lineup to have 8 to 12 goals. Yeah. As opposed to one guy having 23, 24.
Yes.
You said the right side of the defense. You're talking about Ben White, or are you talking?
No, the left side.
Okay. Because Ben White's locked down.
No, Ben White is doing great. The left side.
You have to think that Urian Timber comes in and makes a big difference, because he played 30 minutes this season. He tore his ACL in that first game.
Either I will let him if he's in good shape, or I will let Tomiyasu be the starter and I keep forgetting his name. The other guy be the rotation, or I'll move him to the midfield.
Zinchenko. Yeah. The thing about Tomiyasu, and because 3 months ago I would have absolutely agreed with you. Yeah. Over the last couple of weeks, maybe the last month and a half or so, Tomiyasu's shown some defensive weakness that was odd, uncharacteristic for him. Yeah. But he's definitely the better of the options. We've had that conversation as well, where Zinchenko, very good with offensive build-up, very bad on the defensive back end. Kivior, good defender, defensively minded, obviously, practically non-existent in the attacking build-up. However, for someone that's as good as at defense on average, he oddly puts himself in odd positions at times, and then doesn't have the pace to get out of that. Whereas Tomiyasu is sort of the jack of all trades in situation. He's good with the offensive build-up. He's good with defense. He's good with positioning. But I don't feel like he leans in a particularly strong way outside of that. But for someone to pick up slack in the back end as a replacement or a squad player, he's very good. Yeah.
It will be either of those. The reason why I will still probably go in favor of Tomiyasu is just because probably less games as a starter makes you that way too. Mm-hmm. So if he becomes the starter, that might change a little bit. But you guys go and he has rotation guys, which is really good. If you want to win any competition next year, your bench has to be deep.
You know what? Well, and on that, the other thing that I kind of noticed was missing this whole season. You look at the midfield, and everybody says, Declan Rice is invaluable. Martin Odegaard is invaluable.
Yeah.
The center midfield, the centermost piece of that, Rice is a starter.
Yeah.
Odegaard is a starter. They are part of your starting lineup no matter what you say. Never at one point were Partey or Jorginho starters. Mm-hmm. As in, you're not moving from the lineup. A McAllister.
Yeah.
A Tchouaméni. And that's what I'm saying. The replacement for Partey and or Jorginho has to be a starter, an absolute star, not just another rotation player.
Yeah.
They always had one player in that midfield at any given moment, Havertz, when Havertz was on the left side, that could have obviously been improved and was not where they needed to be the best that they could be.
Mm-hmm.
Jorginho comes on in the 64th minute. Partey comes on in the 64th minute for someone like a McAllister, like a Tchouaméni. That's what needs to happen. Anguissa, even because you can see that age is not on their side, but maturity is.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're being countered, even if you have Saliba, Gabriel at the back, you need that pace in the midfield. You're left a little vulnerable at times, especially and it happened on several occasions.
If you get Anguissa, you gotta have a midfield in combination that's faster for him. Anguissa is more of I wouldn't say. It's more of a kind of like a Toni Kroos. The difference is just he just goes up a little bit more because he has the potential to do those passes, the potential to counter on the attack. He just needs someone that will carry the ball forward.
And that's Odegaard. Yeah.
That's it.
So yeah, it's just one of the three midfielders at all times felt like they were a rotation player that needed a slight upgrade. So I see that as being a thing because Rice is not going anywhere, Odegaard's not going anywhere. But you've got to have that solid starter.
I just want to mention this before I talk a little bit about just passed by the German league, but the Athletic Premier League team of the year is pretty interesting. You got Foden on the left side, Watkins as I wonder how they got Watkins as their ST, the strikers, instead of Haaland. That's interesting to me.
Because Watkins was in better form.
That might be it.
Because Haaland had more hat trick. He did that last season too. I'm not saying it's a bad thing really, but yeah, he'll drop 4 against a Fulham or an Everton, and then he'll miss 4 or 5 wide during a match against United or Chelsea.
I guess Watkins was a little bit
more
consistent.
Yeah.
Palmer on the right side. That's interesting. That's the Athletic team. Yeah. You got Rice on in the midfield. City. So Rodri, a little bit as the CDM, and you have Odegaard and Udogie, Gabriel, Saliba. Like we said, Gabriel and Saliba was the best combination this year in defense, and that's why it's interesting that Arsenal has close to five players in this thing. I would like to see the Premier League team by Premier League itself.
Yeah. Well, so we're actually gonna do this either next week or the week after. And mine because I see this and I don't want this to happen. Although I agree with that. That's a very solid lineup. The Premier League starting 11, but you can only have 3 players from one side.
That's what I think someone said that in the comment too.
Yeah, I'm just you could basically have in theory the Premier League starting 11 of just City and Arsenal if you wanted to.
Yeah.
But that's not fun. You got to get creative and pick other things. I actually have mine.
We'll probably talk about it 10 when all the leagues officially close. The Champions League is over. We're gonna talk about it. But guess what, guys? Things that are flying under our radar.
Ooh.
Nobody really seems to see how great it is.
Tell me about it.
Yep. Let me get a round of applause for the German league.
Just the whole league?
The whole league.
Hell yeah.
For years and years, right? They've always been that league, but they have never sparked interest in the sense of, I would say, not interest as I want to watch a game, but interest I need to follow this other man. I need to be on them. I need to understand what's always going in the league.
I legitimately don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah. But this year was a little bit different.
Yeah.
A little bit different. And the reason is because this year was different than most years. Bayer Leverkusen, 90 points. First, they won the title. What could you ask more?
It keeps going. Like they do something that you would never expect or that they would never expect, and then they just keep slightly improving on the deal.
You guys understand that they had 28 wins, 6 losses, 34 games. They have won the league without losing a game. Then the second is Stuttgart. People don't even see Stuttgart is the second. It's not even Bayern.
They snuck in.
It's not even Dortmund. And it's weird because it wasn't even on my radar until last week. I was like, wait a minute. Stuttgart is the second?
6 or 7 weeks ago, Stuttgart kind of dropped to 5th, and you're like, oh man, like they're gonna slowly phase out. No, they crept back up and really dug in that last bit. 7
losses, 4 draws, 23 wins. And
those 8 losses from Bayern is ridiculous.
Yeah, I think that's
crazy.
why it got them cramped up, because Stuttgart has 73 points and they have 72 points.
Yeah.
And Leipzig is 4th. That's interesting. I was used to either see Frankfurt, Dortmund, but these guys, it's the past.
Dortmund played like shit all Bundesliga.
It's weird that they play like that, and in Champions League they just became gorillas.
Well, and they were and then they weren't even playing that well in the group stages of the Champions League.
I don't know how
they snuck, but they're lucky to be in the final, but they earned it, so you can't say they didn't.
Yeah, so I'm very interested and very happy. My man Harry Kane went to Bayern and still didn't win the title. That's crazy.
Oh man,
that is crazy to me. But
should have gone to Arsenal, Kane.
Yeah.
Buddy, would have loved to have you. And that was your
was Arsenal in the runner-up to sign Harry Kane?
They were like, nah. I mean, they were early on. It was clearly either Bayern or Madrid.
Okay.
But Arsenal were his childhood club.
Oh,
so I find purpose humor in that.
He could have still gone there. Just say, hey, I used to be there. So what's now? It's like going back to your ex. It's crazy.
Never works out, does it?
Yeah, sometimes. But that I just wanted to mention that because that was really interesting to me.
Yeah.
Seeing how good the league, and in fact the Bundesliga had the record of attendance this year than any other league. Yeah. So that was crazy. It will be really interesting to witness that atmosphere.
Yeah, you hope that they can really recreate that. You can hope that Leverkusen and Stuttgart really do give Munich trouble for not only 1 year or 2 years, but like maybe the next 5 to 10. I'd really like to see that. I'd really like to see it more competitive. I'd like to see the exact opposite of what we've seen for the last 10 years.
Yeah, that's true.
Of just absolute dominance. I'd like to really see, in the next 10 years, I'd like to see Munich bag 2.
I would actually like to see another club coming in, filling that position.
Stuttgart, yeah. I'd like to see a 3-way between them. I mean, honestly, their big 5 now is, Leverkusen, Stuttgart, Munich, Leipzig, and Dortmund. Not in that order, traditionally speaking.
Yeah.
But if Dortmund can get back on track, Leipzig, 4th is where I expect them. If Stuttgart can keep impressing like that, if Leverkusen can be absolutely dominant like they are, and Munich are just not bad, but a little more down to earth again, all of a sudden, that's a must-watch league again.
That's true.
So, yeah.
Well, it's interesting. What's that Ange guy, Postecoglou?
Yeah.
There's a lot of TVs that want him to just sign him for this summer so he can be a pundit for the Euro. How about that? That's a guy that's always marketable. He got a job.
I guess I would be. Why would you do that? I don't know.
I mean, they want something. There's a lot of players that are retired or pundits. Just go and sign them. This guy, he's still in the game.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah. I'm not waiting.
There's plenty of way for him to have another club and still work money. Find someone that will work money.
That is legitimately a waste of time for a guy that's like actively managing a team.
Yeah.
So no, I don't think so.
Well, today, like you heard the news from us, and if you didn't hear it from us, it probably wasn't true.
Inside shit. We got the inside shit.
Yeah. So, but we got a lot coming up for the summer. Stay tuned for Euros. Stay tuned for the Champions League, and stay tuned for our Football 101 so we can restart the season in good spirit.
Our Football 101, and do not forget, I swear to God, because if you don't, remember, I won't either. That's a joke. June 10th is our Academy Awards.
Oh, yeah.
So
About it.
dress real spiffy. I swear I better see 1 or 2 pictures of you guys wearing a suit and tie, because we'll be wearing our suits and ties as well. Looking like Dracula. looking like Christopher Lee. It's gonna be great. Paint my face white and everything.
Yes, sir. Well, on that, we let you guys be, and we are closing. See you guys next week. Bye.
Goodbye.